The Rodney was a full-rigged iron-hulled clipper built in 1874 by William Pyle for Devitt and Moore of London. She was engaged in the Australian immigration trade, and could accommodate 60 passengers in first class and approximately 500 in steerage. In November 1895, Rodney lost her lion figurehead during a gale in the English Channel while en route from Gravesend, Kent to Sydney, Australia. The figurehead washed ashore at Whitsand Bay, Cornwall. 6 months later, in 1897, Miramar states 1896, the ship was sold to F Boissière of Nantes, France, and renamed Gipsy. The crossover year, per Lloyd's, is 1896 to 97. She was re-rigged as a barque on the 7th of December 1901. The vessel was wrecked and became a total loss at Downderry, near Looe, on the coast of Cornwall, while on voyage from Iquique, Chile to France with a cargo of nitrate. Description: Rodney was one of the last sailing ships built for the colonial passenger trade to Australia. She still could get first-class passengers who wanted to have a restful sail to their new destination rather than putting up with the noise and mess of steamships. She still had no trouble getting the emigrant and third-class passenger traffic, as was true of all sailing ships of this period. She was launched in March 1874 as a first-class 1,500-ton iron clipper, built by Pyle of Sunderland for Devitt and Moore. Her registered measurements were: length 235 feet 6 inches, breadth 38 feet 4 inches, depth 22 feet 6 inches, tonnage at 1,447 tons. She had accommodations for 60 first-class passengers, their cabins opening up on an 80-foot saloon. The two-berth cabins were 10 feet square and had unique fitted lavatory basins and chests of drawers, which were luxury novelties for her day. Her bathrooms provided hot as well as cold water, another unusual luxury. Up to this time most people took cold baths, no hot water being available. Another luxury which is considered standard today is a smoking room, which was located at the top of the companionway leading from her saloon to the deck. Prior to this, most smokers were required to go to the weather decks to smoke, since the ladies could not abide the vulgar and vicious habit of smoking. The saloon was lighted by two large skylights, which were fashionably decorated with stained glass views of Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, and Cape Town. The ship was considered elegant due to the stained glass and the plush upholstery of her furnishings of the cabins. The galley could easily feed 500 people, and she could also distill 500 gallons of water daily. She was considered the height of elegance and fashion for her day. Pyle of Sunderland, her builder, did not build very many iron sailing ships, but she was considered his most successful, fastest and most famous iron ship. Devitt and Moore always spoke of her as the fastest ship in their fleet, and her records confirm this opinion. In 1880 she made her quickest passage to Adelaide, arriving on the 1st of January 1881, 74 days out. Under Captain A. Loutet in 1882 she made her best passage to Melbourne, arriving there 69 days out from the Channel. In 1887, under Captain Barrett, she ran from the Lizard to Sydney in 67 days, equaling a record made in 1870 by Patriarch. Her best homeward run was made in 1889–90, when she made the Lizard 77 days out from Sydney. On this passage she raced the Cutty Sark. They raced neck and neck the entire voyage, sighting each other on the 1st of December, the 2nd of December, the 22nd of December and the 28th of December. Throughout the voyage first one was ahead and then the other. On the 15th of January the Cutty Sark made the Lizard lights, 73 days out. The Rodney signaled the Lizard on the following day, 77 days out. Only 2 other ships ever gave the Cutty Sark such a good race. Captain Looe commanded the ship from 1874 to 1886. Captain Barrett had her for a short time, being succeeded in his turn by Captain Forbes. The Rodney ran to Melbourne until 1887, with the exception of a voyage to Adelaide in 1880–81. From 1887 she was continuously in the Sydney trade until 1897, when, after being badly knocked about on a rough passage home, was sold to the French and renamed Gipsy. 4 years later, on 7 December 1901, when homeward bound from Iquique with nitrate, she was wrecked on the Cornish coast and became a total loss. History. An iron full-rigged ship built in 1874 by W. Pyle & Co., Sunderland. Dimensions: 235 feet 6 inches x 38 feet 4 inches x 22 feet 6 inches and tonnage 1519 GRT, 1447 NRT and tons under deck. Equipped with a lion figurehead. 1874. Launched at the shipyard of W. Pyle & Co., Sunderland, for Devitt and Moore, London. Assigned the official British Reg. No. 68905 and signal NCSH. Employed in the Australian trade. 1874–1887. In command of Captain Alexander Loutet, late of the same owner's ship St. Vincent. 1880–81. Sailed from London to Adelaide in 74 days. 15 October 23 December 1882. Sailed from London to Melbourne in 69 days from the English Channel. 1887–1889. In command of Captain J. H. Barrett, late of the same owner's ship South Australian. 17 October 26 December 1887. Sailed from Lizard to Sydney in 68 days or 71 days from the river. 4 March 11 June 1888. Sailed from Sydney to London in 99 days. 24 December 27 March 1888. Sailed from Sydney to London in 93 days. 29 May 22 August 1889. Sailed from London to Sydney in 78 days from the Lizard. 30 October 17 January 1889. Sailed from Sydney to London in 78 days. She sailed 4 days before the Cutty Sark, which together with the Simba made this season's fastest passage with 75 days. 1892–1893. In command of Captain H. N. Forbes, late of the same owner's ship Collingwood. 1894. In command of Captain F. Northey. 1895–1896. In command of Captain F. W. Corner. 1 November 1895. Left Gravesend for Sydney, but bad weather was met already in the Channel. The figurehead was lost during the gale and was washed ashore in Whitsand Bay, Cornwall. 6 months later, the Rodney arrived in Sydney 105 days out. 1897. Sold to French owners in Nantes and was renamed Gipsy. 7 December 1901. Wrecked on the coast of Cornwall on voyage from Iquique to France with a cargo of nitrate. Ship Modelers Association. The Maritime History Virtual Archives.